button that we just pressed. But you know what? We're back to talk about more Smallville and Before the Cape. Great seeing you all. And you know what? It was great. We had a great time last week talking about the premiere. And that went extremely well. And so this week we're back to talk about not one, but two episodes 2 and 3 of Smallville, called Metamorphosis and Hothead. Let's get right into it, everyone. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right, we're back for this. We're back in black or something like that, right? Isn't it? That's how the song goes.
Yeah,
I was going back in time.
I'm back in time. Oh, look at that. But yeah. So last week we had a really good stream. I do want to say thank you to everybody who did check out the first episode, which has it was done so well that actually surpassed the Superman movie review that
wow.
Andrew was on, and that was like one of my highest viewed streams. And so that was exciting. Like I was not expecting all that support that we got with that first episode. So thank you all, everybody, so much. And yeah, that's just amazing. So I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it just really shows how big of this thing that like people still care for Smallville after. What year did it come out again? Was it
2001?
I was going to say, I thought it was 01. So 24 years later, people still care about the small little show called Smallville. So that's pretty cool.
Ba-doom-sh.
Yeah. Right. So, but anyway, we're here to talk about episodes 2 and 3. And I don't know. There's nothing to really talk about right before it, is there? We're good to just dive in, I guess.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into this for more Before the Cape action, where we get Metamorphosis, which I hear, Ian, you love this episode.
I mean, okay. So I realized when watching it that I probably haven't watched it since well, I would have rewatched it with my mom when I got her into the show. But that was years ago. And otherwise I would have just watched it for the first time before that. So it's not, it was better than I remembered, but I don't like bugs.
Okay.
And also I had a lot that I wanted to say about it, but then once I watched episode 3, I was like, wow, episode 3 is so much better. Let's talk more about that one. But we'll get there.
Well, okay, yeah. What was your thoughts on this?
Well, that's episode 2, so
yeah. Well, that's episode 2. Well, we're done talking about it. Apparently.
all right.
What did you think of episode 2, Andrew?
I actually enjoyed it. It very much, the pace and tone was a lot slower than the pilot, just because the pilot had to get things going. But
Yeah.
I liked that it almost had sort of like a Freak of the Week kind of Scooby Doo vibe to it with this Greg villain. Like, I mean, he's just the villain of the week. But it made for a kind of fun, self-contained story. And of course, we get a little bit of other stuff with Lana and Whitney and everything.
Yeah.
Which was good. So yeah, I enjoyed it overall.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed the mix of both like character development. I thought we got a good bit of, as well as seeing a interesting weird villain, which I get why it would creep you out, like just the bugs in general. But then like also there's one scene in particular where I was just like, oh, that is gross,
Yes. Oh yeah.
That one shower scene, I was just like, oh my god, that is.
I was like, is that gonna happen to me my next shower? Like, I hope
Oh
not.
god. Oh,
Well, if you
talk about giving me
a
a
bunch of
newfound
radioactive bugs, maybe.
I
hope
talk about having
not.
a newfound fear of shower and all that. Yeah, I mean, like bugs are cool, but this guy takes it all to like a whole other level, and yeah, he was creepy.
Well, and he just felt like gross. Like I thought it was like acne all over his face, and then I realized it was bug bites when like we first see him.
Yeah.
Like his
It was
face is all
acne as
covered.
well, but yeah, maybe it was bug bites.
Maybe it was a combo
Yeah.
of them. I thought maybe it was bug bites with the bugs, but maybe that was before they were radioactive. I
He's
don't know.
very greasy.
Yes, Greasy Greg.
That much better name. That's his super villain name.
There you go, Greasy Greg.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I thought Greg was a fun, like, villain of the week guy, you know? Like, they did some weird stuff for a guy. Like, by the end, he kind of turned into, like, a literal Mothman, I kind of felt like, you know? Like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Mothman, the Batman villain, right? I kind of got vibes of, like, well, this is just a messed up version of him in some ways. And so... I don't know. It was an interesting little, like, villain arc. Like, it's one of those things where, like, his importance grew throughout the episode, which is interesting. Because in that first half, we got a lot of good character development that I really liked that we got. And then by the end of it, it turned more into, hey, let's deal with this Greg guy. And then we still had some other, like, little bit moments, but, like, the I guess I could say the ratio of the dealing with the main threat versus the actual character moments kind of flipped from like the first half and second half.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I honestly like if that's all the episodes are going forward. I was thinking like, oh, I really kind of like how that is, you know. I would personally say not like to disparage the other, but I personally liked episode 2 more than I liked episode 3. So. Yeah, I know. Ian's looking at me here like, what is wrong with you? But, but you know,
maybe I can change your mind.
Yeah, that's right. We'll convince you.
Yeah, you won't get convinced. Okay, but yeah, Greg though. Did you watch anything with Greg, or was everything with Greg you skipped over?
No, I mean I watched stuff with him. Yeah, I just skipped any scenes with bugs.
Okay.
And his whole room was just full of bugs. I was like, oh, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Anytime there's cobwebs, did you skip it?
Yeah. Once they had that little sound on the soundtrack that like let us know that he was about to appear on screen. I was like, okay, get my thumb on the fast forward button just in case.
You see,
but yeah.
So, well, and I liked that we got little pieces of background and backstory with him without it being like over the top, like exposition. You know, so we learned enough to know that like he used to be friends with Clark and Pete and all of them, but he kind of just self-isolated himself in a way. And he's kind of like, you know, Spencer, he reminded me of Vigilante with his mother a little bit. I mean, he wasn't quite to that extreme, but he was pretty mean to his mother. You know,
yeah.
She's like, I'm gonna send you to the military academy, and he's like, no, you're not.
I mean, this person's like way worse than Vigilante, right? Like, yeah.
True. Yeah.
He
even attacks her.
Yeah, he did bad things to her mother versus the other one. It was just hurtful things that he said.
Exactly.
And so,
yeah,
you know, there's certain lines. Although Vigilante crosses lines in other ways, but
true.
I would argue he at least makes up for it in several ways too. But. Yeah, that's an interesting comparison. I didn't see that until you mentioned it. Now that you mentioned it, I'm like, you know what, I can't gotta say that in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was a solid like episode of the week villain though. I enjoyed the I don't know. I enjoyed the weirdness. Like I enjoy when things can get a certain kind of weird, and I mean I think this kind of borderline of weird things I like, but like I enjoy I thought
Let's
it was
get into
like
the weird things that Spencer likes.
But
this episode,
maybe not.
This episode,
yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed. I don't know. Greg was a good villain.
I enjoyed the episode too. So
yeah,
I did. Okay, I enjoyed a lot of the episode. I just thought the third one was way better, and I'll say why. But what you were talking about with character development, I did think that was really good.
I did,
and I wanted to specifically focus on. I'll start with Lana, and then I'll move on to my second one. I thought Lana was really good in a lot of ways because it was like she didn't need things explicitly like spelled out for her. You know, no one actually told her, hey, Whitney did this to Clark. You know, she like picked up on the tension between Whitney and Clark earlier in the episode, and then discussing with Lex, you know, he gave some breadcrumbs, and you know, she just figured it out on her own, and then goes and confronts Whitney. And so I really liked that as part of her character, that she's someone that can actually put 2 and 2 together, or 2 and 5, and doesn't need everything perfectly spelled out for her. But then I also wanted to talk more about Lex. I thought that Lex was so good in this episode, and very Lex-ish, meaning that he was like being really manipulative. But in a way that could totally come off as he's just trying to be a good wingman for his friend. But I was thinking more about last week, and how I kind of saw what he went through with Clark on the bridge. Him talking, the way he talked about it being kind of like a religious experience for him, and how this would kind of get him like really attached to Clark and want to know more about him. But also I was thinking about, because of the necklace that made me think about it, because Lex has the necklace from when Clark was strung up as a scarecrow. I was thinking about how Lex found him in the cornfield, found Clark in the cornfield. And the last time that Lex was in a cornfield in Smallville, he found someone that was strung up the exact same way. And at that moment, an apocalyptic event basically happened, and Lex's life completely changed. Like, he lost all his hair, and I'm sure that, you know, totally changed things for him. And who knows what other ways it might have as well. But then he finds Clark the exact same way, this person who had just saved his life and he had this experience with, and he's like, oh, like this could be very much a, oh my God, this is a solidification of what happened. My life is going to change again, and I'm going to make sure it's for the better. Because like the first guy, he wasn't able to save him, but Clark, he was able to help. And so maybe that's like tipping the scales of fate in his favor. So I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Well, and he even tries to convince Clark, because Clark kind of brushes it off, going, "Oh, it was just a prank." And he's like, "You could have died. Like, you need to handle these guys." But I thought it was interesting, the scene where he shows Clark that he has the necklace. I wonder if Lex soon will pick up, because Clark, not to jump too far ahead, kind of picks up a little bit, I think, in episode 3 about at least the rocks. But I wonder how long it takes Lex to realize that Clark's affected by kryptonite. You know,
Greg noticed, you know, he remembered from when they were kids that Clark would get sick around that specific place.
That's right. Yeah.
Forgot about that. Yeah, that's.
But also, another thing with Lex and, you know, giving the necklace back to Clark, I just really like the way that he wants Clark to use it, not to be actually, you know, nice to Lana, but as a power play. You know, he's like, oh, you can use this to win her. This is about power. This is about strategy. So as much as he, and as we see more in the next episode, as much as he's like really kind of has a contentious relationship with his father, like the things that his father has been raising him with, giving him, you know, crazy Troy battlefields as for a gift, as a way of teaching him about strategy, that's like really seeped into his mind over the years.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, Lex was definitely the character for me that stood out the most in this episode, because you really got to see, you know, as you mentioned, how manipulative he is, and that's what really stood out to me in this episode was, you know, just all the stuff you're saying about Lex. And to me, I really liked all those character moments that you specifically got with Lex throughout this episode, which I thought was just, I don't know, I thought it was all really well done in this episode, to be honest, with Lex's character specifically. And so I just really liked all the stuff with him. It really does lay a nice foundation for what his character becomes.
And you wonder if what he said to Clark was really a joke about, hey, if you had just let Whitney get killed in that truck explosion, your
Yeah,
problems would be over.
yeah.
He definitely meant that, knowing his character.
Yeah, he did.
And yeah, no, like that's great. And you know, we're talking about the truck explosion. That's such a great character moment for Clark too in this episode. Where
that was his first real save, I think. Like a direct save of a person. I mean, he saved the people from the everyone getting electrocuted, but it wasn't like, you know, direct.
Well, didn't he save Lex after getting hit by the car though? With the bridge?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, but he had every reason to theoretically not save Whitney.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he could have easily been like, "Nope, you hung me up as a scarecrow," but obviously that's not who Clark is.
That's not
so.
Clark.
Yeah, that's not who he is at all. So he's gonna save him. You know.
Yeah, no, it was a great moment too, and they for like a TV show, like a you know, TV show budgets back then. I thought like the moment of him coming out like looked good, you know.
Yeah.
The moment of him actually saving Whitney was cool, and we did get, you know, when we throw Whitney into the mix, we got a whole lot of other character developments and stuff throughout this that I thought was good too. You know, jumping into the end of the episode, seeing Clark giving the necklace secretly, like we saw by every intention, Lex set up the power play for Clark to get Lana.
Clark,
you know, see, he didn't come out there for Clark to get Lana there, right? And then he did the thing of just, you know, making it seem like I don't know. I feel like maybe how Lana interpreted it could have been interpreted different ways, but it wasn't. The point being though that it wasn't for sure him, you know, where he could have used it as a way to
manipulate her.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know if manipulate is the right word I was about to use, but yeah. But yeah, no, I really like that too. Of like, that's definitely a thing that Superman would do. You know, like
I'm gonna give it back to you. It doesn't matter that I'm the one giving it back to you. This is important to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because for him, like take away the fact that it's kryptonite, you know, this would be, you know, something he could do. Like from Lex's point of view, this would be something he could do to win Lana. But he wouldn't win Lana by giving it back to her, because if she's wearing the necklace, he's not getting within 5 feet of Lana Lang without face planting.
Exactly. Which is why I honestly think he hesitates to give it to her when she goes to his like area, like his fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
There was that moment of a pause where he could have said, "Oh, hey, I have the necklace." But he's like, "No, I'm finally having this moment with her. If I give it to her, I'm going to yeet off the fortress and fall, you know?" So, yeah. Because I was like, "Clark, why aren't you giving it to her?" And then I was like, "Oh, well, that's why."
Yeah, because he wouldn't be able to have these moments with her.
No, not at all.
And he even makes a good point of they've lived a mile apart from each other their whole lives, and that's her first time visiting. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's probably partly also because I'm betting, especially when Clark was younger, they had Clark much more isolationist, you know, like kind of trying to keep him on the farm, make sure no one sees him using his powers, but, you know, trying to teach him control before they let him really be around anybody.
I agree.
No, I think that's a great way to look at it, and we see that through, you know, when we see how like Clark acts awkward, you know, to try to blend in, it makes sense, you know. I feel, you know, I think there's people that stay in more do generally act kind of more awkward out there. And that's really well reflected in the character, I think.
Mhm.
Speaking of him, there was a couple big things with him in this episode too that they specifically set up, such as when he woke up and he's flying in the bed or above the bed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thinking of first dreaming of Lana and then realizing that he actually is flying there,
Well, floating.
floating. Okay,
And then breaks
hovering.
his bed. Beds
Yeah.
aren't cheap, Clark. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
But I love Jonathan's expression when
Yeah.
he was like floating.
I
He's
know.
like,
I
I don't know how to handle this as a parent.
Yeah.
Clark hasn't had the conversation yet, so.
No, not quite yet. But then we also got we touched on earlier between Lex and Clark as well, and we specifically as well look at the specific setup of lead, the importance that can't see through lead, and so as we're talking about
And it protects him.
Mhm.
Yeah. So learning all that there, which is neat. Kind of got like instead of a love triangle, there's a love square going on this whole episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Greg's trying to third wheel the third wheel,
I know. What the heck, Greg?
What is a what's a 5 thing?
Pentagon?
Okay. Is it a love pentagon then? Because Lex, I mean, he's pretty enamored with Lana as well.
That's a good
Which is kind of weird considering he's at least
I was gonna say she's
7
not
years
of
older
age.
than her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's definitely over 18.
Yes. We need to take a look at Lex's computer.
Wasn't it like? No, it was in this episode too. Maybe it was at the horse stable where he was talking about an encounter with her years ago.
Yeah. She was like, "We've met before," and he goes, "Really?"
He's like, "Really? What was I doing, or whatever? What was it? Yeah,
Well,
Skinny dipping.
yeah."
like, oh, yeah, that sounds like me. That was you.
No,
I thought it was a great scene, though. I think it really showed.
100%.
Especially for him, he saw her as a formidable person.
Mhm.
Someone, probably not the standard person that he generally deals with. So, I thought that was definitely a good scene for both of them.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, I definitely. Yeah, no, it's just one of those things. Like there's several great scenes that I think of character development throughout this episode specifically, and that's what stood out to me. Including the scene between Clark. Why do I keep on saying Clark? Jesus, Clark and Lana.
I mean, their ship name, is
Klana.
It's Klana. Yeah, it's
No
Klana.
way.
I kind of like Lark better.
I like Lark way better.
Yeah, let's go with Lark. I'm writing that
I
down.
can't believe people were like Klana.
I don't know.
That does not. Yeah, puts a bad taste. That puts a bad taste in my mouth. Like
Klana
Reese's
sounds like a bad fantasy villain
Lark.
or something.
It does. It was like, oh, there's Klana for
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer.
Yeah, I like Lark, and I think we're gonna have to come up with different ship names for everyone.
Yes.
So we'll get to those as they come around. Was it in this episode or the next episode where Chloe was making some
That's
Isaac
next
Clarke?
episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But what I was trying to mention is we got Lark's great scene together as well, together before all the stuff goes down, and that's when he has his moment to give the necklace and doesn't give the necklace, and him trying to, I don't know, navigate his way of words with her, and so And it was, and then after that, I think it was kind of more just into the whole Greg plot after that, which I don't know. I feel like we already all covered there.
And then they go to some like warehouse where there's like the battle.
Yeah.
Or the fight, I should say.
Yeah, Lana's and all the cobwebs and stuff. I do find it interesting though, and this kind of applies to the next episode as well, of how each character villain has applied it relates with like Clark's background in some way, or his family's background, can you say? And like, you know, if it's like, oh, here's the friend that turned evil from his previous group of friends, and his previous group of friends, we now all meet them. Okay. And then next here is an evil, we'll just say an evil teacher, but then also obviously applies in other ways too with his father. And so point being though is I feel like you can only do these for so many times before they get old. And I
Are you saying that the villain is like directly linked to Clark so that
yeah,
Yeah.
the point is in my mind, you know, we'll see how it goes, obviously, because I don't know what to say or like what to know.
I would
What's going on in the
say,
future.
I mean,
But like I find it interesting that I feel like they're firing all these shots now that can't be done or not be done as well in the future, perhaps. Or as many. Like, you know, like how many more times are we going to get an evil teacher? How many more times is there going to be like a friend turn evil that's not Lex, right? Because obviously, you know, that's a whole special thing. But it's like,
exactly.
Can you really do another villain like Greg? You know,
I think they like. You could do maybe 2 or 3, you know, with the seasons being 20 plus episodes, maybe you could do 2 or 3 that are like a villain of the week. Because I always find those like fun one-offs.
Yeah.
But maybe not 3, maybe like 1 or 2 for a season.
See what happens. You know, it's just going to be interesting to see how. You know, there's how many episodes of the show? 200 something. It's like you can't have everyone.
14.
You can't have every single one be a
I think it's
villain
like
that's linked to
217.
Clark's past. It feels like, you know,
yeah,
like even Clark of this time, you know, in so
I
many
mean, at least for now, I would say, you know, their villains kind of have to be within Smallville. Otherwise, how would Clark know about them? And it's a small town.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they say it's a small town.
I was going to say, it's
in a
got
way
45,000.
But yeah, 45,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, they definitely.
When I moved out from my previous house with my family, there was like 50,000 people in the city, and it's grown since then. But at that time, that was like a lot. I mean, that was a lot of people.
Yeah.
So that I'm sorry, 45,001 people. That's a lot of people, you know.
I do feel like they made small. Like I can't explicitly say I know how Smallville is in the comics, but I get this vibe that Smallville is a lot smaller in the comics compared to what's in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, which I get them having to grow it, and maybe as well in some way too. Maybe
it's also possible that like there's like Smallville, like the Smallville core town, and then there's like all these other places that fit within the Smallville county, but are actually much further away. And I could see, especially with like the billboard that we saw that says, you know, 45,000 people, I could see them like swinging to like changing property line laws so that more
like a city limits
fit within it, so that they could say like, oh, this is a much bigger place than you think it is. This is a tourist area. You can come here. And So, but
that's a good point.
Actual Smallville is much smaller.
Maybe.
But as we saw with Chloe's Wall of Weird, this stuff has been going on for years. Tons of stuff that Clark had no idea about.
Yeah.
So obviously the only ones that we're going to see on screen is stuff that he's going to deal with. But there could always be crazy stuff going on.
100%.
Always.
I mean, Clark can only be in one place at one time, so.
That's one of the big things with Superman's character is that he wishes he could be everywhere at once to save everybody. You know.
Good thing he's really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, but that is one thing I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
This was the first instance, I think, of the Clark super speed slow motion. When he saves his dad from falling on that sharp thingy.
I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Clark has obviously used his super speed before in the previous episode, but yeah, I think this was the first slow mo, which
I thought that was
enjoy.
interesting. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to say hello to James in the chat, who said, "Somebody save me." And
I'm glad we got the intro in this episode.
So you didn't? Okay, that's something else I wanted to ask. You guys didn't get the intro with the previous episode?
No. Yeah.
Okay, because on my DVD, I don't think it has it, but I thought maybe with Hulu, if that's the way you're both watching it, that they would include it anyways.
Yeah, on my I have it on Blu-ray, and yeah, the first episode it didn't play, but then it did for this one, and I was like, yes.
I'm jealous.
Also, the music, I love the music in these episodes. It's very late 90s and early 90s. Well, it reminds me kind of like with James Gunn, like it fits. The music just fits the vibe of the show.
I did really like some of the songs that they used.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking back then that I really liked the songs. Like there's one scene in particular where they played a song I really liked. And of course I now can't remember the song. I think it was a Weezer
That's
song.
how it works.
I think it was a Weezer song they were playing. I was like, yeah, I want to listen to more of this. And then they like really quiet compared to the conversation. And I was my mind was not focusing on the right thing there. So I was like, hey, I want the song. Because I really liked the song that I was playing. But yeah.
Yeah, I love the soundtrack, especially with the next episode. I think the songs are really standing out, and it definitely is very particular. Smallville has a very particular sound with the songs that it chooses, very much kind of like pop rock with late 90s, early 2000s. And so whenever I hear a song that I'm like, oh, this sounds like it could have been on Smallville, it probably was.
Yeah.
I mean,
funny.
A lot of episodes you could cover, you know, for all this. Let's see here. They had, holy cow, there's a bunch of songs here. I'm looking at the song specifically in episode 2 that somebody has made a playlist of. And it's like, whoa, this is a lot. Like, from this first one, there's technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 songs, looks like.
I think that would feature, I mean, even if they're like in, like, especially I think in the next episode, like if they're in a coffee shop and there's a song playing on the radio, they still count that. You can't really hear it, but
like one of them is like saying like when I think when there's it says Greg has a car accident in one of these.
Oh, so that would have been on his radio.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. Is like, yeah. So we get stuff like that in the
which his car was a VW Bug. That's a good.
I noticed that. Yeah, I was like, aha, fits the character.
Well, I thought it was
also
funny.
too. You know, sorry.
Oh no, I was saying about the car though. Is it's that's funny. I didn't realize that because I'm not a car person. But it looked a lot like the kind of car, or one of the cars, maybe that's like from the iconic original Action Comics. That the car that he saves, or holding. Yeah. I was like, oh, I think that's a nod to that. I felt like.
It's not.
Although I didn't have anyone to go Slugbug and hit because I was watching the episode by myself. So,
but yeah, I want to say Matthew also gave us a little song in the chat, saying, "It's a Smallville after all. It's a Smallville after all." Yeah, you do. Okay, great. And
that's gonna be the new intros for our show.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh boy. Yeah. We'll think about it. Chris is saying, "Sing it, Dingus." You know what? That's as much singing as you're getting from me now. But yeah. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers episode 2, I'd say. Is there anything else on episode 2 you want to talk about?
Mark leaves the necklace at the end.
Yeah.
But that's it. So
I think that's pretty much
all I had to say.
I think so too.
Good episode.
All right. Well, then let's move on to episode 3 of Hothead, where we get to meet this incredibly nice coach. Who's his name again? I'm terrible with names.
I think his name is Walt.
Yes.
Walt.
Yeah.
I don't remember his last name though.
Well, Walt
Even though
Fire
that's
guy.
what they would have referred to him.
Fire guy. Firestorm. Oh wait, no, that's a hero.
But he's the actor from the Wonder Years. He played the dad on the Wonder Years. If either of you know that famous show,
I think that's a bit before my time.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
I think it's before my time as well. But it's still famous.
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard of it. I've never seen it. So.
Have you seen The Princess Bride?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the kid in that movie that is having the Princess Bride story told him he was the star of the Wonder Years show. And so this guy played his dad.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go.
Nice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not kind of a hothead, but not as much as he is here.
No, he's very extreme here. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, very much a totally a nice person, obviously.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah.
I'd love to visit with him in a sauna. You know?
Sans meteor rocks.
Do you think he gets all his powers from like being in a sauna? Like, does he just spend all his free time in a sauna and that's how he became a hothead?
Yeah, with the rocks there.
I don't know how long he's been breathing that in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if I just like stay in a hot tub for so long, does that make me like?
No, you need meteor rocks or kryptonite.
Oh. Okay, so if I buy a bunch of meteorites, put them around in like a ritual circle around the hot tub or a sauna,
and then you have to do a 24-hour stream of you just sitting there.
Yep, that's part of it.
Yeah, obviously.
It's the Wi-Fi signal that activates the kryptonite.
Ah, I see. Okay. I'm gonna have to get some meteorites and stuff, and we'll.
But what powers would you get?
Great question. One way to find out.
Exactly.
Watch
it be some lame power and you can't get rid of it.
If it's linked to your personality.
So Matthew is saying Fred Savage. Chris is saying his brother is the kid from Boy Meets World, dad from Girl Meets World, Ben Savage.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew saying both of them in the
Other
film
people
Little
know
Monsters.
what I talk about.
Yeah, both of them in the film Little Monsters with Howie Mandel.
Oh, okay.
See, Andrew, all we know nowadays about Howie Mandel is that he does the America's Got Talent, and all I know is that he's a judge there, and so
yeah.
I forgot about that. I think of him as the briefcase guy.
The briefcase guy. I could play Lex's dad in the flashbacks. Could I? I'm a bit young for that, but I did really like Lex's dad, and it would have been this episode then. Where that was, we got to see another side of Lex this episode, not necessarily the manipulative side of him going out and doing things, but now the side of what his life is like, which was cool. I liked seeing that other side of Lex here. I forgot how he is Gizmo in Gremlins. I heard the backstory to that, which is interesting, and I completely forgot about that. Anyway.
Who was Gizmo?
Howie Mandel.
Oh, okay.
So, but anyway. I particularly did like to see Lex's father, and it's interesting to see, Lex is thrown into a place of He's already part of a big corporation, and he's learning how to take on it, and he's doing all these things, and we're learning. We get this like a little bit too, which is interesting with Lex, where it's like he wants to do this thing of I don't remember exactly what he's wanting to do with the business, but he's wanting to do something where it was increasing 20%
The workforce.
by 20%, but then he, as business and fight, we got a physical version of that where his dad wins the argument, and instead lost 24 or 20% of the workforce.
Yeah.
So.
And he figured out a way. He shows his dad at the end. He figured out a way to cut 20%, not cut 20% of the workforce, but cut like 20% of the budget
without losing anybody.
Without losing anyone.
Yeah.
Because he beats his dad again in the fight. It's
Right.
like a double or nothing kind of thing.
Beats him intellectually.
Yeah.
And yet Lionel still wasn't happy.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it was cool.
That.
I really like that part. I thought it was cool. Being able to see, seeing Lex deal with his own challenges in the business sort of setting, as we know of Lex, which is cool. And there was also, should I say something? I do find it interesting too of one of the big differences. I don't remember if they've explicitly highlighted this in the show, like if they've referenced it or shown it. But the company they work for it's not called LexCorp, it's called LuthorCorp.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting change, and it's one of the things that James Gunn took for the new Superman movie, which is something I find interesting, because from what I remember of Lex in the comics, at least the one origin comic that I read, where you see them as children, like friends together. Me and Steve talked about it a few months ago, where it was Superman's Secret Origin.
Mm-hmm.
And in that story, we did specifically get we did see Lex in Smallville, and it was like his dad was like your normal everyday sort of like bad dad alcoholic sort of character in that, which is interesting. That obviously, well, that's completely different than what this show is telling us as where he came from, of how he got his business, where it's a Lex that's born into the business versus having to build the business ground up with his intellect, which is interesting to see how that'll work. Because I believe in that comic, at least the one by Jeff Johns, is it's after the incident that's detailed in Secret Origin, he leaves for Metropolis to build up his empire, versus here he comes back after a bit to Smallville to specifically manage a part of an empire that's already there. So I don't know. There's just some interests that some changes and stuff that I kind of find interesting. Of like, it's one of the big changes from in this show compared to the normal Superman lore, at least from what I took from normal Superman lore, or at least the iteration of Lex's backstory that pertains to this case. Yeah. So
yeah, it's what I've seen too in recent things that I've been reading. That his backstory was alcoholic father.
Yeah,
and he basically did everything on his own to become what he was. So
yeah, and that's interesting of seeing him in a different case, and I think they change it to we have a good reason for Lex to be in Smallville, because if they went with the traditional thing of what they go with now, at least, because I don't know when they started doing that backstory, because I have to think too that with this show being 24 years old, this show could also pioneer certain aspects that are kind of like taken for granted, and we've even seen, like, I don't want to go too much off track with this, but like MCU's grown so big that there's certain aspects of the MCU that have kind of grown big where like that's kind of an aspect taken into the comics now. And so, I'm curious if like any of the aspects from this show have kind of like had an effect on the comics in some way, especially with how big this show
possible for sure.
Yeah.
So how popular the show was.
Have.
Something, yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be
there's
interesting.
something that happens, and I won't say what it is, but there's something that happens in the first episode of season 2 that
Okay.
was brought into the, what is it called? Spencer for All Seasons or Superman of,
Superman for all seasons.
is that what it is?
The,
Okay,
the
so
one,
they
Now
brought,
Spencer's gonna
they
figure it out.
specifically brought
The-
something that happened in Smallville into that story.
you're talking about like the Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that story so much. Another story that me and Steve talked about a few months ago, right after Superman came out, I think. And so, I love that story too.
Link in the description, maybe.
Yeah, I should do that. That's a brilliant idea. Check out all the previous Superman comics that we had here. I need to do some more Superman stuff on here as well. Be like comic stuff on here as well at some point. But
Yeah.
To actually Smallville. Let's put it back on track on Smallville now that I've had my comic tangent.
Comic deep dive for the episode.
Yeah, the comic deep dive of the episode. You know, it's an obligational thing. You know, when I'm a comic channel, I have to figure out some way to link it up all together. Make it seem like I at least read the comics. Anyway, we got what's his name again? You told me. What's
Walt.
Walt. I just wanted to say Martin. I was like, that's not right.
Everyone just called him Coach.
Coach.
Yeah.
Coach.
Who I think he coached there for at least over 20 years. Yeah.
He's there for a while.
25 years.
He's there.
He only
for a
said it
while.
a
May have
couple
said it
times.
once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember 25 being brought up a few times.
Yeah.
And so
I just thought that was funny. I was like, I think it's 25 years.
yeah.
How long
You
has
might
it been,
have said
Coach?
it.
25.
You've only been principal here for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
Yeah.
however long. Not long.
right, seeing the coach about to be stripped of his power, and he doesn't take that kindly.
Mm-mm.
You were talking about one of the things if we wanted to do, Ian, is if we wanted to try to have like MVPs of, I don't know if you meant like the whole overall before the Cape episodes or each episode individually, but
Individually.
okay. Well, for last episode, mine was Lex, but this episode, it is the kid who leaked the info.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his name?
I think it's Trevor.
Yeah,
Was it Trevor? Okay.
I believe so.
So for me, if I picked an MVP this episode, it'd be Trevor, is because not necessarily that he had a bunch of screen time, but you had to think about the guts of what he had to go through. That he had to be able to pull off what he did. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have, had the things go down as we did. He is one of those characters that, sure, maybe he was only there for 10% of the time, but his effect was there 75% of the time.
Mhm.
And so for me, his character stood out a lot.
And that courage that he had, that
Yeah.
there were multiple instances of scare tactics.
Yeah.
After what happened with
Mhm.
Principal Kwan in his car, and then on the field, and
Yeah.
then personally being attacked by the coach. And yet, I mean, he needed a little bit of pushing here and there, but it was very courageous of him to keep going and keep trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No,
I love that pick. That's a great pick, Spencer.
I thank you.
Why'd you have to go first? Because now our other picks are going to look bad.
Okay, well, who's yours for the previous episode, Andrew? Your MVP.
Ooh.
We might come up with a different name.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Let me-
Most
let me-
valuable
yeah.
person.
Good question. Let me think. Definitely not Greg.
It's okay if you say Greg.
Yeah, right, exactly. Honestly, I might say Clark, and I know that's probably an easy answer, but with that particular episode, I don't know. I got to think on that because Clark, I don't know. Clark didn't really do much. I mean, he saved Whitney, but he messed up not giving the necklace.
Oh,
I
you
don't know
thought
if there
that
was
was a mess
maybe-
up.
Yeah,
Okay. Interesting.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, Trevor is a good pick for this episode. That's a good pick. I don't know if I can pick anyone better. So, to be honest, I mean, when you broke it down, I was like, oh, that does make sense.
Yeah, because did you bring that up before or after I watched the episode? I don't remember. But like I remember just after having watched it and it set with me or right after or something, I was like, oh yeah. I don't know, it is just a natural pick for me. What about you, Ian? What is the answer to your own question?
For the previous episode, I would also say Lex, for all the reasons that we stated. For this episode, this was a little more difficult because I thought there was a lot of really good character work in this episode. I kind of want to say Clark because, especially like near the end, it was really ballsy to just kind of confront the coach by himself. Which was also kind of foolish. But I'm gonna go a different direction, as you did, and I'm gonna say Martha. I thought that like her very calm approach with her scenes and the way that she could totally turn things around on Jonathan and be all like, well, I wonder where Clark gets his personality from. And like you weren't perfect as a child either. And but also was then able to be like with Clark, she's like, I told your father he was being unreasonable, but you're no perfect peach either. So yeah, I just thought all of her scenes were really good.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. Is like, we did get some, like, we got a couple at least great scenes between Clark and the parents, or involving that relationship between the three of them. And yeah, no, like those were some great scenes there of, highlighting how parents can be a little too much authoritative. Is that the word I want to use?
Protective.
That's the word.
Jonathan Kent's very protective.
Yeah, trying to be more protective, which isn't always the way to go. Like, yeah, there's definitely certain things they should be protective, but then there's other things when you kind of.
They have to. He has to trust that Clark has self-control.
I feel like it's one of those things that parents they should. They want to have a tight grip at first, but then they want to slowly let go, right?
Yeah.
And it's one of those moments when you're at the high school year, like your hand by that point should be pretty open, and Jonathan his hand was still holding a bit. And so we got to see him loosen his grip there a bit by the end of the episode, which
I think that's something that is really important for parents, is to be more honest with their children about the decisions they're trying to make. Like, I agreed with Jonathan that all of his reasons for not wanting Clark to be on the team was accurate, and he's right. Like, it's easy to get agitated or way too energetic during a football game and lose control. Being emotional, as Lionel would say. And also, try if you're trying to impress somebody, which Clark was. But also, I wish, because when he was talking to Martha, the core reason of why is because he's afraid. If something happens and Clark is exposed, he'll get taken away.
Yeah.
And that's his main reason. That's his core reason, is because he's afraid. And I wish he could be vulnerable in that way with his son and be able to share that. And it's not, oh, you could lose control, and it comes out as like, I don't trust you type thing, where it's where it's more this fear. So I wish that's something that people could learn from this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's well said. Is there's a bunch of things out there that's written away that it could help teach you if you really wanted to look into it. And I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons why the show is as big as it is certain things resonate with people, Smallville's one of those shows that we're talking about, like, it's 24 years old and it still has so much, staying power in a way, like, perfect example of us just talking about it 24 years later, but then also so many people talk about the show that they love it. The stars are always popular at the conventions. They do the convention circuit big time. And so
all of this stuff is still relatable.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, like there's all these things with it that's, just helps make it come together and click. And so, but yeah, no, 100%. That's some great stuff there for sure. I do dig it. Yeah, that's a really good pick too. I like your character pick.
Did you have one for this one, Andrew?
Oh man, I mean, I hate to say it, but I probably would agree with Martha, to be honest, because I know watching the episode she did a good job of being neutral. She wasn't picking sides, like you said. She was kind of putting Jonathan in his place, but also putting Clark in his place.
Yeah, neutral, but with an opinion.
Exactly. I loved the coffee scene where Lex gets his coffee and Clark goes, "Is that what you ordered?" And he goes, "Not even close."
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that was pretty great.
I gotta
say, hot drink with the straw.
The humor for not only this episode and the previous episode, like there were laugh out loud funny moments for me. Like in the previous episode when Jonathan's like, I don't know, this is a little too weird, I'm not buying it. And Martha's like, oh, says the guy who's been hiding an alien ship in his storm cellar for the past 12 years.
Exactly. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah,
no, Lana doesn't last too long as a waitress either.
No.
Yeah.
But she was trying.
Of course.
Tried.
Yeah.
I guess just not everything's for everyone. I'd probably make a bad raider as well, unless it's in a game. But yeah, not for. It's one of those things that I think like looks deceptively easy.
Yeah, I tried it briefly and I was like, not for me.
I haven't done that, but I mean, I've worked customer service a lot, and it's not easy at all. And I would hate having food added to the mix or drinks, because that's even worse.
Almost everything looks easier than when you actually do it. like
exactly.
And give more respect to the Raiders,
and more tips.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't forget to tip too. That's part of the reason why eating out is so expensive, and like, you gotta make sure you tip. But anyway,
Clark gets locked in the sauna.
Yes. One of the things, and this is very much a me thing, I know, is this episode, one of the reasons I liked episode 2 more than this one, is I personally enjoyed the bug plot more than the whole everything being based around football and evil football coach thing, because I don't know. I'm not going to say the story was bad, but because of my bias of not liking sports stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, it is,
Funny you say that, because I literally have football on right now.
Look at you being able to multitask. Good for you. Yeah. No, it's just one of those things of like, I've just never cared for sports stuff, and so it's like, I can appreciate the good storyline with it, but like when that's a whole thing that the episode's centered around, it's just like a whole of, yeah, that's important, but I personally don't care about it. Yet the things around it are written well. Like it. Yeah. I don't know. That's I would say the biggest reason why I liked episode 2 more than 3 is just because I like the subject matter of 2 more. But that's not to say that this episode didn't do a good job of what it did. Obviously, Ian likes it more. And did you say you liked this one more too? Is that Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, I liked them both. I think this one had a little bit more going for it, just
Sure.
plot
I
wise.
can say that.
I am curious. I don't know if it'll be in the next episode, but I am curious if Clark's gonna look more into why the meteors affected him, because he even says when
Yeah.
Jonathan comes and gets him, he's like, "It's the rocks," or he said it's meteor rocks or something. So
Yeah, I mean,
wondering.
he knows that Lana's
Yeah.
necklace is one part of one
Tied,
of the
yeah.
meteors.
Right.
And
I just wonder if he'll
so,
try to figure out why it affects him, you know,
yeah,
or how it.
Yeah.
but he at least knows so far
Mhm.
that stuff bugs him.
He knows certain things so far.
Yeah.
He's piecing it together slowly but surely.
Mhm.
But you know, he's figuring it out.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed this episode. What else do you all have to say about this episode in particular?
I have stuff.
You do
So
have stuff?
Andrew wants to
Alright.
go first.
Oh no, I don't have any. I mean, you can go ahead.
Okay, so the biggest reason why I like this episode, especially much more than the previous one, is because this is exactly the type of episode that I love, that all the main character storylines were thematically linked, but not in a way that it's forced that they're linked. So every single one of the main characters, and main characters I mean at least here, is Clark, Lex, Lana.
Okay.
You know, you
Mhm.
have Clark wanting to forge his own path against an authority figure, his father,
Mhm.
and that's with the football. And then you've got Lex with his father, and I'm just gonna say that I love that parallel but also completely different interactions with Clark and his dad, and Lex and his dad. Clark and Jonathan have a disagreement and they have a fight, but Lex and Lionel have a disagreement and they have a sword fight, which is
True.
just so awesome.
Mhm.
And I was wondering why they would get all geared up in the fencing gear but not wear the helmets. And I really think it was just so that Lionel could have that hair flip. You know,
Yeah.
that guy has amazing hair.
Yeah.
Don't want to get
Why,
him
thank you.
But then you've got Lana, and you know, her wanting to forge her own path and be different. And she does come up against less resistance with her aunt, but it's still an authority figure that's there. And
Mhm.
then overall, you've got these kids like Trevor who are coming up against an authority figure, a father figure of this coach. And he, you know, he's trying to go against the coach, exactly as you said, with all the test and trying to come forward with that stuff. And then you have the coach, which is an authority figure, but he's coming up against an authority figure of the principal. And also the coach's big thing was, you know, like cementing his legacy. And each one, Lex, Lana, and Clark, are all trying to do their own thing and kind of have their own legacy.
Right.
So it's just all linked. It's all
Yeah.
together, and yet it's not forced that they're all kind of going through that same thing. And I just thought it was so well done, and that's exactly the kind of episode that I love. And so
Mhm.
that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, that's no, that's very fair. I did notice a lot of that when watching it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so, but no, that's awesome. I do like. I think you bring up a great point there of making it not feel forced. It's one of those things that like you don't. I feel like you don't really notice unless you like think about everything.
Mhm.
If you don't put too much thought into it, you won't necessarily notice it. But when I was piecing it together, I'll be honest, it was close to the end of the episode too, when I fully pieced it together myself, I remember thinking, I was like, so Clark's doing this thing on his own, Lana's doing this thing on her own, and then that's when it hit me. Oh, that's what this episode's all about. But anyway,
What's it all about, Spencer?
all about them finding their own paths, and everything that you essentially just said. But yeah,
But because it dealt with football,
Spencer's
but
like,
then it
"Fuck."
did that. I was like, this is great. Other than that was football.
No, see, what Spencer's trauma is he really wanted to play football in high school, and his dad told him no, and so he had trauma watching this episode.
What's funny is that is 100% the other way around.
Did your parents want you to play football?
No, no,
He's like childhood trauma. I can't go into it.
My dad's always been someone that's tried to get me into sports, but by the time I hit high school, I think he finally accepted that I'm not a sports guy at all. So
my mom told me that even if I wanted to play football, she wouldn't let me because I would have gotten ripped in half.
I know that would have happened to me too. So I know I'm not a sports guy. I was never built for it.
Did you play football, Andrew?
No, since I was homeschooled and for high school, it just wasn't really a team that I played for, but I definitely would have liked to. So got the body of a water boy, so just
there you go. Oh
yeah.
Have you played football? Let us know down below.
Did you have a coach that was like hot? That was a hothead.
Did you deal
that
with it?
was something too. Like, I really liked Professor Quan. Maybe I want to switch my MVP to principal. Maybe I want to switch to Principal Quan for MVP because he was like, I've seen your tactics. This is not okay. Not just the test thing, because that was later. That was a reveal later. Like, he's like, you do not treat these kids okay. You are not okay. And like, that's not even something like that Jonathan ever even brought up. Like, this was his coach too. He would have been treated that way as well, which was verbally abusive and physically abusive in some people's cases.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I like that this guy was pointing that out. Like,
he stood his ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, there's that other thing of this guy has the support of so much of the school board because he's like, oh, I can do whatever I want. And because,
he's like, I coached almost all of them.
Yeah, exactly. So I like Professor Quan.
I didn't like him as well, but yeah, he definitely wasn't there much. But
no, and that was another thing I wanted to point out. I'm writing down like repetitive things, not repetitive in a bad way, but like just things that repeat in different episodes. And every episode so far, we've had at least one car-related accident. First episode, Martha and Jonathan flipped their truck when the meteor struck. Also Lana's parents, their car was destroyed with them. And then Lex's car hitting Clark and going off the bridge. And I guess you might also be able to say because the Jeremy kid from the first episode crashed that car into Clark, and then Clark stacked up all the trucks, which wasn't exactly the same. But then in the second episode, he saved Whitney and the truck after the truck flipped and exploded, and then in this episode, the car explodes. So it's a lot of auto insurance prices in Smallville must be very high.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. That's what everything was leading to. Is your point was just auto insurance absolutely sucks in Smallville. Good thing.
Maybe that's
not
why
there.
They've also, changed the border lines to make them have a larger population so
Yeah,
that
that's
they
why
can have a
people just wanna
larger
go.
economy.
Yeah, that's why people just want to go to Metropolis. All the other, certain rates are better there. So
Mhm.
But anyway,
I'm so excited for you guys to see Metropolis.
I'm
Ooh, I am
excited to
too.
get there.
Not
as
that it
well.
appears.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
no,
It might
not
or
at
look,
might
all.
not.
yeah, right.
Right.
If you're just teasing us.
Right. Who knows if a fundamental part of Superman will appear in a show about Superman? But
But this is before Superman.
I mean, you're referring to obviously a field trip to Metropolis, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, Clark will be 25 and still just hang out in Smallville.
Yeah, right. Anything else you have to say about the Hothead?
No, other than I enjoyed it. It was a good episode. Really enjoying the series so far. So
Awesome. I'm glad.
yeah.
I've definitely enjoyed it. I've definitely enjoyed doing this thus far. Did you have any
Mhm.
closing thoughts, Ian?
This episode was great. Bugs are gross. Somebody save me.
This was the thing I wanted to bring up about Greg that I completely forgot about until just now, because I was thinking about it at one point while we were talking, and that slipped my mind. Is when Greg gets defeated, a bunch of bugs come from him.
Yeah.
Is that him giving birth to 1,000 bugs?
I think it was just. I don't think it was from him. I think it was just this thing had crashed to this floor. This place is probably full of bugs and a bunch of bugs scattered.
I'm pretty sure it's from him.
I
Maybe.
took it as from him. Like, because they mentioned, like, he probably did some form of mating. I don't know. I was at first,
something.
yeah, like, I don't know.
There's
Also, did he just like vanish? He just got crushed into that. And there
Also,
was
I think he
no.
was killed.
Well, yeah, obviously, but there was
what's
no
the-
like blood or
what's,
anything.
There
What's
was
that-
no resolution.
Yeah.
What's that Spider-Man villain that's a bunch of bugs that are in like a humanoid form? You want to know what I'm talking
It
about?
sounds gross.
Do you all know who the Spider-Man villain I'm talking about? Like, it's literally all these bugs form up and they literally make the shape of like a human being. It's some Spider-Man villain. I don't remember his name, but it'd be
Swarm?
that sounds right.
Sandman.
Oh, the human fly.
The human. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Terrible.
I'm looking up.
So,
Bug
Swarm
villain
sounds right.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Not gonna lie though. But what if Greg comes back like that? Wouldn't that be great?
Oh.
Oh, don't I
Like
don't know.
he
Ian
turned
might
into all these
might
bugs and
foreshadow.
scattered and will like
Yeah.
reform.
A bunch of mini Gregs
Yeah.
will rise up from the bugs.
Yeah, maybe he'll become like ants, a bunch of tiny little Gregs.
Or like they return later in the season, they all just start climbing on top of each other, and then they form back into Greg, and he's like, "Hello, Clark. Thought you got rid of me."
Exactly.
There is something that happens later in the season that might come back to that kind of conversation. But I won't say what it is.
We'll just say my personal wish is for Greg to return, although I highly doubt it. But we'll see.
I think he was killed. But that's
Yeah.
something
Oh, yeah.
I did want to say two things, so you reminded me.
Okay.
Thing the first.
Reminded you.
Jeremy from last week, he survived, but without his memory.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, it looks like he got killed, although you guys don't think he did. You think he's
I think he's dead
he's
in
Bugman.
human form.
Okay.
His spirit
And
lives
then
on
the
in all the
coach-
other
The
bugs
bugs,
that he
yeah.
birthed.
The coach, it looks like he got burned to a crisp. But I find it kind of interesting that, at least so far, it's like, okay, well, we got to get rid of him because this episode is a little over 40 minutes long and we don't have much time for any resolution. So we have to get rid of him. We can't have Clark kill them, so we just kind of have to have them kill themselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. But also, I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts are here. So far, we've had 3 people that have been affected by kryptonite or meteor rocks, and they all go insane and murderous. Do you think it is specifically the kryptonite that is like making their brain chemistry go all crazy like this? Or do you think it's more because these are seriously damaged people with or without
Like it enhances
kryptonite?
it almost.
Yeah. Do you think it's more that they're being affected by the kryptonite, or do you think it's more the kryptonite just gives them powers and they're just psychotic anyways?
I think it depends on the person because like the coach is very psychotic even without it. You can tell based off his personality, and I think the kryptonite enhances it. Like when he bangs the table and then the fire, like obviously his natural reaction is to do that. But I think someone like Greg, I think it just like he's weird, and then I think it just altered his brain and enhanced the weirdness. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you glance at the whole situation, I feel like the easy answer is to just say kryptonite's evil.
Mhm.
You know, and and maybe it is, but I think I think there's a bunch of cases you could probably make for everyone that maybe they were all just bad to begin with. So I don't know. That's interesting. I'm torn on that. I'm torn on that myself. Not gonna lie. What were we saying?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were about to say something.
Nope.
Okay. I guess that's it for this.
I
Anything
think
else?
so, yeah.
Oh, I did want to say one more thing.
Okay.
This episode was directed by Greg Beeman, and he possibly directed the most episodes of Smallville. So this was his first, and so I think it's important to acknowledge him because like his directorial guidance is very important for the entire run of Smallville, and there were like at least two scenes that I really loved. So one of my favorite things is single shot scenes, or at least seeing how far they can get in a scene with a single shot, meaning where the camera's just on them and they're working through the scene. If they move, the camera follows them. It's not cutting between different shots. So it means that they have to be, staying on point on their lines. It's more like a stage play, instead of being able to have a bunch of cuts that they can edit between. And so there was a scene earlier with Lex and Lionel's drones that was a long scene just following him. And then the one at the coffee house with it followed Pete, Chloe, and Clark from the street into the coffee house, and they had quite a long scene going there. So just I love scenes like that because it really shows like the quality of the acting as well, that they can really stay in character and just, their memory, and just it's I enjoy that a lot. So I'm going to be watching for more of those, specifically with his episodes.
I agree. Well, I learned I've been listening. I have checked out the Talkville show just to see if they would potentially spoil anything, and they haven't yet. They both Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling love talking about the show, but they were saying when they filmed the pilot, they had a month to put everything together, to film it and put it all together. They said then for the remaining episodes, they had 10 days to film everything, edit it, put it together, and get it out. So it's and I know it's like that for TV, but when you think about it, you have a 45-minute episode, you essentially maybe have 4 days to film it and then the rest to edit and everything and put it together. That's pretty impressive,
Generally they do, I think, about 7. It depends on the show,
Mhm.
and it's totally different now, I'm sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, generally with that, it would be about 7 days, and the other days would be pre-production and post-production.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
that's just pretty impressive.
crazy
To
fast.
not a lot of room for error there.
No.
No, I mean, just the art of
Mhm.
show making in general has changed a lot because now all the shows are essentially mini movies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Essentially, like the new season of Stranger Things is essentially each episode being almost their own movie, which is just
I know.
mind-boggling. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so, but yeah, no, that's
Yeah, when you look at stuff like this and just the quality that they were able to get, like
no,
you were
Mhm.
saying with something earlier, like the visual quality that they were able to achieve, it's pretty astounding.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, no. That was good stuff though. But I think that does it for this episode though. Of Before
Mhm.
the Cape, our second time doing this, where we talked about Metamorphosis and Hothead. Next week we'll be back for I should have looked at these.
Looks like X-ray and
X-ray and Cool. So we're not watching Cool X-ray. It's X-ray Cool. So gotta make sure it's the right things there. So
Cool band name.
what exactly are those about? I don't know. I don't want Hulu to spoil them for me. So
I
we're
know,
gonna
I
be
won't say
talking about.
anything though.
But yeah, we'll
Mark
be.
starts to see things,
What? Oh, that's crazy. uh, but yes, we will. Should be back next week to talk about those episodes for more Before the Cape. If you made it this far, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. Appreciate everyone that comes by and hangs out, including especially Matthew always being here. Thank you, Chris and James, for stopping by as well. And to anyone else that just stopped on by to listen for a little bit.
Mhm.
Andrew, what do you have going on this week?
Well, tomorrow night on the Came in Focus YouTube channel, we will go live at 9 p.m. Eastern to discuss The Last Samurai, which is a great movie if you haven't had the chance to already watch it. Monday night on the Feast of Fandoms YouTube channel, we'll be going live for MCU Mondays to discuss Jessica Jones Season 2, Episode 5, which has been a fun season so far. Then on Thursday nights for the Cantina Happy Hour, we are continuing our Clone Wars rewatch with, for sure, Season 2, Episode 12. I'm not sure if it's an arc.
It is.
Okay.
What episode title is that?
Well, it's the Mandalore arc.
Oh, okay, that's right.
But it might be called. One of the three is called the Duchess. I know that.
I believe you're right. Yes, yeah. So that's what we're doing. So that's all I got.
Good stuff. I might be over there tomorrow for The Last Samurai. That reminds me I should watch it. I don't remember if it was streaming anywhere or if I had to pull out my DVD.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I gotta check real quick.
So there's this movie that's one of my favorite movies.
The Last Samurai?
No, it's called The Last Unicorn. And so when you say The Last Samurai, in my head, I'm just they sing a song that goes The Last Unicorn. And so now I'm just thinking The Last Samurai.
How have I never seen this? Jeff Bridges is like the first credited person in this?
Isn't it Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise is in Last Samurai, yes.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Last Unicorn, Jeff Bridges is in that, yeah.
Yeah, he plays...
It's a great movie.
I should watch it.
I gotta have to check it out.
It's on Tubi right now.
All right, there you go.
We should talk to Cam.
Soundtrack is really great. You guys...
Exactly.
You like music.
We should be like, hey, Cam, we should talk about The Last Unicorn next week.
Exactly.
But anyway, Last Samurai tomorrow. I might make it over there. That's a great reminder that I should absolutely put it on tonight. So I could check out some of it because that movie's been on my watch list for years and I've never gotten around to it. So when you brought that up, I was like, oh,
it's really good.
I want to take part in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one I've wanted to watch for a while. I think I even watched a clip of it at one point for when I was in my Japanese class in high school. which I don't remember why.
You're like, samurai.
Yeah, we watched it for some reason. I don't remember why. I think it's to teach kind of like the depiction of history and how some of it was accurate and some of it wasn't. But
yeah,
I don't completely remember though. But I remember seeing a clip of it, like of a battle scene or whatever. But yeah, hope to make it over there tomorrow. Though, point being, because I hear good things.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Other things coming up on the Dingus Den. I say that when I realize I really don't have much else going on at the moment. But yesterday, the Long Halloween issue 1 comic read through or comic dub came out. I put in some fun. I spent some time editing it, and we're working on figuring out when we're going to record issue 2. And that was a lot of fun. Getting a full cast. There's 5 of us doing voices. We split the roles up, try to make it as evenly balanced as we can, where everybody had a good bit of talking that they could do. And yeah, that was a bunch of fun. If you haven't checked,
it was fun to listen to.
Yeah, it was a bunch of fun for me to edit as well. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it was annoying in a couple of bits, but it was fun to look back on everyone because there's certain things that when I'm busy in the mindset, especially when I'm the one recording it, and when you see all the comic images going on screen, my mind is more focused on making sure everything looks okay in the recording than seeing what everyone else is doing, like expressions and stuff. So when I'm going back and like looking back through it is funny to see certain people's reactions to certain things I didn't pick up on while we were recording. And so,
awesome.
But that was a bunch of fun though. We're wanting to do more of those. We wanted to do a whole long Halloween series. Long Halloween is my favorite Batman story. The whole gimmick of it is that each event takes place on a holiday. So we're going to try to pick out each of the episodes for each of the holidays. So next one is on Thanksgiving. So we're going to be trying to get out the next episode on Thanksgiving, which will be see if we can get it done by then.
And who wrote that comic?
Jeff Loeb. Also,
what?
Also drawn by the late and great Tim Sale, as we were talking about for Superman for All Seasons. Jeff Loeb's one of those rare writers that can write both Superman and Batman well. So, because a lot of times you'll see it, one person writes one really well, and maybe there's the other okay, or vice versa. But he's written not my favorite Superman story, but one of my favorite Superman stories, like easily in probably a top 3. And then Long Halloween is my favorite Batman story. And funny enough, Jeff Loeb's also written my second favorite Batman story, which is Batman Hush. So he does a great job with Batman, in my opinion. But yeah, that'll do it though. I'm trying to think. I don't think we have anything. I have anything else planned fully at the moment. Wait, I lied. On Thursday or Friday, it'll probably be Friday because I've been trying to get into a group of Fridays. Me and Cam are actually talking about we're going to be doing a Venom comic, which I believe we're recording on Wednesday. So that'll be exciting to talk about. I knew I was forgetting something because I knew I planned something for this week, and I was like, what the hell was it? Anyway,
Nice.
thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll see you all next week for X-Ray Cool. Yeah, X-Ray Cool. Next week. X-Ray Cool for on here on Before the Cape. See you all later, everybody. Laters. I need somebody to